Meeting to order, please. Stand. With pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this night. We thank you for this town. We thank you for everybody that's showing up here that shows interest in our town. And we just ask that you govern our hearts and our minds to be able to govern this city the way you'd have us do it decently and in order and making progress and going forward and not backwards, Lord. Give us wisdom to be able to do this the way you'd have us do it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
roll call.
Frazier.
Here.
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 Ford.
Here.
Ms. Denise.
Yes.
Okay. Here. Sorry.
Trey's absent. He at work. He's having to do something. He takes me to go and build maybe he's moving his daughter to college.
That's it. He was not real happy about it either.
Approved minutes at the July meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting. June meeting.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Denise, second by Bruce. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Approved July financial reports.
I did want to add, I had let y'all know earlier in the week that we had some issues with the new software. Our auditors were here this week, they left yesterday. You do have statement of expenditures and encumbrances, and you also have statement of revenue. You don't have trial balances or the full monthly reports because I'm not quite finished up. They will be done. I gotta get them done by the end of next week and get them to the auditor. So they do the month of July as well when they're doing our audit. So if we can just hold off approving them until the September meeting, we can do both at the same time.
Kudos for the audit.
Thank you.
Yes.
2.5 days.
Things are looking a lot better
Thank you.
and getting done a lot quicker.
Beth, what is this on the bills to be approved? And just excuse my ignorance if I should know this. The local government new workstations, what is that?
Those are the 2 new workstations that we bought in accordance with the new software that we received to upgrade the computers, because those computers, I think, are 6 or 7 years old. Some of the stuff on them was becoming obsolete, and we just needed an upgrade on those.
So that's what
So
that
it was
is.
included in the initial proposal with the software. It was initially quoted at 3, but we don't need a 3rd workstation. The other computer that we have is a server, and they're a lot more expensive, so we're not replacing that one at this time. And then if we have trouble with it later on, we can always have them come in and replace that one as well.
Any other questions or concerns?
The TLM lead study, line study, I'm sorry.
We'll get there.
I'll be,
The Lesline survey,
lead line study.
that's a grant that we received. It was $42,000 is the invoice that I'm gonna pay. We received a deposit from the state of Tennessee in the amount of $35,700. And our match on that is $6,300. And that was just to study the water lines, to see where we had lead water lines in town, because those, of course, we need to get those replaced.
So we received 37.5?
35,700.
I'm sorry, yes,
Yes, sir.
35.7. And we're paying 42?
Yes, because our match is $6,300.
So we're
Only
We have
really
to pay
paying
like
out 63.
60-70%.
Oh.
We don't pay on these grants like this. We don't pay the invoice before the deposit is made from the state. So we're never out the whole $42,000. The check will be for 42,000, but I got the deposit and then they email me and say, we deposited this money today, so now it's time to pay this invoice. And it's just whatever that percentage of the match is that we're responsible for.
Who is this Van Brocklin?
Donnie is not here, but I have it. It's somebody he orders supplies from.
Yeah, I think it's chlorine maybe.
I just haven't seen.
Oh, that is, he had to replace the impeller at the lagoon, and that is the invoice for that.
Okay.
Is that the thing that was in big question of the middle of the
That is above my pay grade. I don't
That would
know.
be in the, hey, Darryl, would that not be in the cabinet over there on the west side? With the grinder or, no? Yes, sir.
I just know that he was
Outside
new.
where it pumps.
Okay, so that's not what Don was talking about needed to be replaced in the
That is the one, as soon as you pull in the gate.
I don't know if
right
I've
there.
ever been out there.
Well, you got two, if I'm not mistaken, you got two mowers. One as soon as you pull the gate, and you go around to the west side, there's another over there. You got 4 pumps total. Right. She answered your question, Mark. Any other questions, concerns? Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to, I did want to ask, that David Turner,
Yes.
is that what, did they paint on the outside? We didn't paint that building.
No, they painted the overhead doors.
Mark Fire Department?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, just the two front and rear, like the roll-up doors, the awning, the both entrance doors, and then the letters
On
back.
City Hall.
It does, it makes.
And also he done the city hall letters as well.
It's a whole lot better.
It does, clean.
Since we're just talking about it, but, so we're fixing to kind of just barely facelift the, we're gonna call it the patio over there beside Macy's office. We're gonna call it patio, because that's gonna be our gathering place when we do things in town. And so we want to make it nice and for people who wanna be there and go there.
We also had the new signs put up at the fire department. We got the sign at the park at My Lane that was destroyed during the storm. We did order a new sign for that. Street department is gonna be working on building a new frame for that. For the patio, the Chamber of Commerce is going to donate a sign to put up behind the stage. That will come out of Chamber of Commerce funds. That just says the patio, that'll make it look a little bit nicer up there on the stage area.
Because we're having a concert in
Yes.
September.
So we're hoping that, I talked to Shane about getting the concrete pressure washed. We're getting the weeds took down. The stages are gonna be repaired and painted. And then we'll be decorating for fall before the actual event.
It's gonna be good.
All right, so we got a motion by Renee. We have a second.
A second.
Second by Mr. Nix.
And nobody's going broke.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approved bills to be paid.
That's what we
That's what we
yeah,
just did.
No, hold on. We got back up here. We done the financial report.
We tabled those.
Huh?
We tabled the financial report.
Until next.
Because they're all
We just
ready.
got it.
Right. The lawyer deal. Yeah.
I rescind my vote, motion or whatever it was. We need to discuss something else.
Sorry about that, Shane.
Well, that's what I knew we were, we're on the July financial report. We hadn't got to the bills we paid yet, which is what this is. Okay, so Renee has rescinded her vote to pass the,
Bills will be paid.
bills to be paid.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we'll open it back up to the floor. Here's what we got. With the, tax sale of the property, when they go to the courthouse, they pay there. We have been getting, when they go to the courthouse, they pay there, and Amber Mooring is supposed to pay us our part, and the lawyers their part. Well, what's been happening is she's been paying us our part and the lawyer their part, plus we've been getting a bill from the lawyer.
Oh, wow.
So basically we're getting double billed. So we've got to go back and, talk to Hal Boyd and see how it actually is supposed to be. That way you get our money back. Cause right now we've overpaid $2,400. Which is not a great amount of money, but we'll get it back. We just gotta figure out the proper way to handle these tax sales and who pays what.
And that's a law, because remember when Fred was here and I had Amber Moore come up, because I called her and talked to her, they're not supposed to do that.
Right. The lawyer's saying they're supposed to bill us. Amber Mooring and the court all saying they're not. So that's why we're gonna talk to Hal Boyd with MTS.
So it's the
get
lawyer's
clear.
fault.
And it came to
Yes.
my attention, I got a check in the mail from the lawyer's office for $107, which was their percentage they received from the courthouse, the percentage of the sale. And I called them, we don't normally get money from the attorney, we send them money, so I called her and asked the secretary what this was, and she explained it to me. And I was like, I remember that very well, so I called and spoke to Amber, and the county had the same issue, so they were already working on this. And I spoke to her again late this afternoon, that's why we wanted to hold off on that and just make sure that we have everything in order and get with Hal Boyd. I'm gonna call him and just get his opinion on it all and how we proceed from here.
And he will definitely know, because when I worked at the trustee's office years ago, that was the county attorney that Nanette would turn over all the delinquents to. So he knows for sure whether, and
How we best,
best.
right, and how we best proceed that, to handle this without, we don't wanna ruffle feathers, but we wanna make sure that we're being smart with the city's money and not spending money that we're not supposed to.
And do it right.
And do it right, yes.
Well, I mean, we wanna make sure we do it the right way.
That's
and not
right.
have any hiccups down the road.
So have we been invoiced for that?
Yes.
Yeah, we had been invoiced, we've overpaid $2,400 and we got another invoice here for $350.
From the attorney?
Right. So really what we wanna do is pay all bills, but table this one. I mean, we need to exclude this one, I guess, from the bills, what we need to do.
Is that what?
I don't see it listed.
It is written in the bills to be approved
Yes,
because
up
those
here.
came out in your
It's like the
packets.
fourth or fifth one down the top left.
And I just got the final opinion today from the courthouse, so I didn't know up until that point how we needed to handle it. So that was just the only way. We need to go ahead and pay the bills, but I want to hold off that one. That way, whatever they owe us, I can go back and say, okay, you say we owe you this, but we feel like we've overpaid this, and I don't want to pay this bill.
I make a motion that we pay the bills that need to be paid, except for the lawyer bill that is under investigation.
Okay. So motion by Renee, second
I've
by
got a big
Ms.
email from her
Denise.
that's got a whole bunch of information in it.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Okay.
Sorry.
Bruce?
All in favor, or yeah,
I'll
we'll
go
have roll
ahead.
call.
Bruce?
Yes, ma'am.
Michael?
Yes.
Michael?
Yes.
I gotta kick a laugh out of this, okay? What is Okeen, W-A-E-R?
Where are you? That is
It's over on the water
mistype on my
side.
part. That is Okina water. The guys have a water cooler out at the, water plant.
What Chinese company did you?
Well, it's a wonder I know my name after this week.
It was fun, I just laughed.
All right, old business, appoint new members to the industrial board. So it's gotta be myself, one alderman off board, which I think Bruce, are you still want to be on?
Well, yeah, people really put words in my mouth.
Mr. Jagger Johnson,
I told Beth that I would.
Tony Barger said he would,
Okay.
Rod did too.
and then,
Rod.
We talked, Denise talked to Rod, we talked to Mr. Buck,
be great.
and that would be our six, if y'all see fit to appoint them.
So we're gonna appoint Mr. Jackie, Mr. Buck, Tony Barger. Bruce, myself,
And Rodney Robertson.
and Rodney. I know this one, I was trying to go back on the
I
name.
think that was it.
So do we have a motion to appoint the gentlemen?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Michael,
Second by Michael.
second by Mr. Michael Pierce. All in favor say aye. Any opposed?
With that being said, you know, which Chris Vernon's been doing work on the dollar store building and everything, and with the account, the two people that were authorized to sign checks were still Miss Nancy and Miss Barbara Martin. And Chris had some more stuff that wasn't on the quote, you know, some gutter work, patching gutter and everything that was needed to be done. And I called both of the ladies today, and, you know, which I don't think Miss Nancy's.
She don't know.
Yeah, and she, Grant, rightfully so, her name needs to be off. So once of this, we need to meet right after the meeting, board meeting, and decide on which two will be authorized to sign checks. And they will have to meet with Miss Barbara and Miss Nancy at the bank to relinquish their authorization to give it to whoever. So, and they were kind enough to go to the city hall. Did they both show up today?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And the way, when one of them, I had one of them tell me she was done, she wouldn't sign checks, she won't go to the bank, she won't do anything else. The other one is gracious enough to go to the bank, and it only takes one person that's a signer on the account. The other one is gonna go tomorrow, and what she has to do is tell them, take these two off, put these two on, and I told her I would call her in the morning after the meeting. She's gonna go to the bank and make those changes, and then that'll be it. So,
Thank you for picking that up.
yes, and then the two that you appoint, then I will contact them and let them know that they need to go to the bank once the paperwork is ready, and they'll have them sign everything to be the signers on the account.
Good. I have the bank statements that been coming to our house for probably a year, but unbeknownst to me, they had been going to Denny all this time.
And I have, they were. And I do
They have
have
been.
copies of both checks. I've got Chris paid in full, and I made copies of both checks with the invoices attached to them so that I can give them to whoever's gonna be taking care of that.
And I have bank statements from every month for quite some time, and I will bring them to the ones that, where, you know, they could look, you know, make sure, because really the only thing that's ever been done, rent being paid and into the account and mortgage taken out of the account. So,
Remember, when appointing somebody, you want somebody that's pretty close to town and can get to you if you need to sign.
yeah, exactly. Okay, good. Well, that needs to be taken care of, because I was, someone contacted me from the state last year, and I told them, and I know they weren't unfamiliar with this, you know, small counties, industrial board with no industry, but told them the situation and everything. I said, but we do have an upcoming election. I said, hopefully by this time next year, we will have an industrial board in place. So it looks like we do, so that's a plus too. All right, good deal. I'll shut up.
Our industrial
Everybody's
boards
believable.
open to the public, or will
I don't know why they wouldn't be.
Pardon me?
Industrial board meetings, they'd be open to the public.
Yes, they were, but nobody ever showed up. You know, I think what, Jackie, wasn't something like the second or third Thursday of the month when we had, and as a group, we'll figure out which one works best for the entire group.
and if y'all have to have it every month, fine, but if you don't have to have it every month, if nothing's going on.
Well,
you could do-
yeah, but, you know, here's what we need to do. Nothing went on last group, because nobody really wanted to do anything. Couldn't have enough people show up for a call meeting.
Yes.
So try to put our heads together, come up with something. I don't care what it is. I mean, no, we're not gonna be able to buy 20 acres somewhere, but just, you know, do something positive and try to entice even a little bit mom and pop business or something of it. I don't care, taco bar, you know.
Alcohol bar sounds good.
All right, discuss USDA grant, items to be discussed. I had Beth put that on there just to get everybody's mind fresh. The $50,000 grant that we normally get this year, they changed it to 25% match. Because the funds are less. So it's gonna cost us $12,500. And I've talked to the guys trying to, help them get better equipment, more equipment that they've not had. Took it, called and talked to Mr. Max and Tim Taylor at Century, looking at a compact asphalt roller. That's a little more than I would like to spend, but anything we get less than that's gonna have a ton of hours on it. Also, the guys they have been moving around a little mini X to pick up limbs with the thumb on the bucket. So we're looking at a 4-in-1 bucket to go in the backhoe, but that way you don't have to unload, load every time they want to move. And then also, all they've got to mow with, anything bigger than the lawnmowers, is a push hog. And would like to look at doing a disc mower. That way they can reach down in the ditch and they step on the road instead of sliding off, flipping the track road. But I just wanted everybody to have this, and I'm gonna try to get some more bids as well.
The USDA grant was submitted for the asphalt roller and the disc motor.
Right. So we'd have to buy the bucket
We would
outright.
have to buy the bucket outright, which would be in addition to the 12.5. And we do also, on that note, you might get more bids. We are going to have to start, maybe, I don't know if we need a committee or how we go about this, but there was, back in '23, a new purchasing policy was typed up. It was supposed to have been passed and it never was. So we're still using a purchasing policy from 15, 20 years ago. The state, since that time, has raised the threshold from 7,500 to 10,000. And in the process of administering the VCIF grant, which is the police department grant that we got with Jason, we've come to find that we can't find anywhere in any records where there was a quote threshold, and we're supposed to have that as well. So we didn't have bids on the truck that we bought with the grant. So now they are requesting that we get a purchasing policy updated in place pretty quickly and get a quote threshold, and we can up the bid threshold to 10,000. So anything that we purchase over 10,000, we have to do competitive bidding. It has to be advertised. We take bids for 2 weeks, and then we have a bid opening. And then whatever quote threshold we set, we just reach out to people. If we're going to buy a $5,000 whatever, and that's our quote threshold, then we would go out and actually seek out 3 of those items, or however many y'all put in place. Within, yes. So that is something that we are gonna have to do pretty quickly, probably at the September meeting, is get a purchasing policy.
Do you have the drafted purchasing policy that was created?
I do, and I can email all of you a copy of it. I didn't bring it with me tonight. What I sent her for this grant was not sufficient, and I told her, I said, a wise man told me a few months ago that sometimes it's better to ask forgiveness than permission.
It doesn't work here.
He may or may not be wearing a blue shirt. But anyway.
And red face.
I'm just teasing, but anyway, I just told her, I said, Jason and I are both pretty new at grants. Jason has never administered a grant before, and we stumbled on this, and the money was sitting there, and nobody had spent it, and the time on it was drawing near, so he...
Last day it ran out.
Yeah, and he
Joanne helped him get it back.
got it back and was able to amend it and get items they actually needed. It was for license plate readers, and at the time, they needed updated equipment, and he went, and they got this grant back, so I just told her, I said, I apologize, and she said, there won't be any punitive acts or anything like that. We just may ask y'all to put a plan into place so that next time this is offered, y'all know what you're doing. I said, we'll be old pros by then. Jason said, we're not gonna get any more grants, because if he wasn't already bald, he would've went bald. He was teasing, but I said, don't worry about it. I'll learn the right way to do things, and next time we'll be able to handle it better. But that is something probably in September we're gonna have to look at.
is there a, you know, you said you're running the invitation to bid in the paper for 2 weeks and, you know, soliciting bids, not matter, do you have, is there a minimum? Is it, what happens if you just get 1 bid? Is there a minimum? You know, sometimes you have to have at least 3 bids in certain situations.
$10,000, the state has raised the threshold for bids to $10,000. So anything you get under $10,000, you don't have to have a bid.
Right.
We don't have a quote threshold right now, so anything under $10,000 we can purchase. But we are, I guess we are supposed to have a quote threshold. So that would be something where we would reach out to Impasse or maybe Tiki Mill or somebody to kind of see how they model theirs so that we can put a quote threshold. So if we made it $5,000, then whoever departments would make decisions up to $5,000 on items that they needed. And if it was over that, like if we had to buy a golf cart and it was $5,500, then we would have to get whatever quote y'all set in place to buy that item.
Would the department heads just put in a requisition for that, or just, you know, already have authorization to spend, or?
No, in a case like that, they would have to get the quotes and it would have to be approved beforehand, I believe.
So are the thresholds by department?
No, it's the bid threshold is state mandated. The quote threshold, I don't really know a lot about that because I couldn't find anything in the charter, and we went back through minutes. The one that I found, I think is from, like I said, it's 15 years old, I think. So I mean, I went back and started digging from then forward in all the minutes and stuff to see if I could find anything that was any more current than that, and I could
I'm just
not.
thinking that each department don't have the same budget, and I wouldn't want a department having a $10,000 threshold if they don't have $10,000 to spend.
Right, I mean, you would set your threshold low enough, the same citywide, that it would cover, because like Daryl's budget's smaller than the police department budget, so that, to me, I don't know what the threshold would need to be, maybe $2,500, I don't know, that's just something we would have to reach out to our consultants with and ask them, so
Well, the
that it's.
threshold would be anything above that would have to be bidded out.
Yes.
Anything below that, we could just measure it, you know, we could just.
Yeah, but I still think that we be very careful with that threshold, because as I stated, each department don't have the same budget, and department head could think that they could just go and purchase.
Right.
I know that, I understand that, and have to have board approval, but you still don't want the threshold to be higher than their budget.
Well, I can tell you, our guys, they come in and ask me, can they go buy a shovel? And I'm like, do you need a shovel? Because, I mean, you got a budget for items like that, and you don't have to ask them. They're like, well, I would much rather ask than just go out and get what I need. But yeah, they're very good about coming and asking for day-to-day things even that they need.
Okay, we're gonna move on to new business. Help grant resolution. Everybody have a chance to sort of read it, or they can read it.
You want me to read it?
They don't mind.
What this is, I'll tell y'all real quick. I sent you a text the other day. We got 2 grants from the insurance company, which is Public Entity Partners. One of those is for $500, and that is, I will be going to Nashville in October. They do a workers' comp class, they do risk management, employee relations, all these other different types of classes. It's a 3-day conference, and the $500 is going to cover hotel and all of the hotel and some of my mileage there and back, and then the meals and stuff. There was 4 of the meals are covered, so it's going to cut what the city will spend for me to go to this into just a couple $100. And this is something when our risk assessment manager came and met with me, it was something that he recommended. The other one we thought was $1,000 to replace the gate at the lagoon, and it is $2,500. And this ordinance will be to replace that gate, just to increase the security out there. He went out there and took pictures. We actually got wrote up for it. After I explained to him that we had kids going in there and fishing and being run off from out of the sewage lagoon. And he went out there and took pictures, and he's like, yeah, y'all definitely need a gate. He said, so I'm going to write you up for it, but then I'm going to give you this information to apply for a grant where we will match your funds to replace that gate. So that's what we're going to read now. A resolution authorizing the town of Ridgely to participate in the Property Conservation Matching Grant Program. Whereas the citizens of the town of Ridgely have entrusted this administration with the care and custody of city-owned property, and whereas all efforts shall be made to protect city-owned property from various perils that may arise for the town of Ridgely, and whereas Public Entity Partners seeks to encourage members with property coverage to develop and implement a property conservation program by offering the Property Conservation Matching Grant Program, and whereas the town of Ridgely now seeks to participate in this important program. Now therefore be it resolved by the council of the town of Ridgely, Tennessee, the following. Section 1, the town of Ridgely is hereby authorized to submit application for the Property Conservation Matching Grant Program through the Loss Control Department of Public Entity Partners. Section 2, that the town of Ridgely is further authorized to provide matching sum for any monies provided by this grant. Resolved this 14th day of August 2025.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion by Renee, do we have a second?
I see.
Second by Ms. Denise. Roll call.
Bruce?
Yes.
Michael Peters?
Yes.
Michael Ford?
Yes. All right, number 2, slum ordinance and condemnation. It seems that we don't have an ordinance in place. And we had the lawyer draw this up. I'd like to waive the reading unless y'all want to read it. And it's a bunch of pages.
I think, each one of us will take time at home, whatever, during the day to read, because I had one that got a notice to, for his property. He's been to me twice, and he's, he's acting vague, but, he knows. But anyway, I won't go there, but still, I think if we have a citizen that comes to one of us, and us to have this, and read it, and be able to explain it to John Doe, Jane Doe, whatever, and then if you have any concern, right here, you got a bunch of empty seats, come in, voice your opinion in a meeting, and get it resolved, civil.
So Shane, you says there is no,
There is no ordinance that we have in place to do any condemnation.
we say that there is. I saw it today on the website.
According to the attorneys, there is not anything put
I
in place.
just got the attorney to look at it. I want to make sure we had all our
So when
I's
you go to
dotted and T's crossed.
MTS and you go to ordinance and you click on it, there's about 131 pages that comes up
Originally.
for Ridgely. I read it today. In fact, I think I printed this.
But it's an ordinance for the condemnation.
It's a whole section on slums.
But does it say anything about condemnation?
It says, yes, there's a whole section on there. And it looks basically just like what is read here. Findings, definition, public officer designated power.
That's the one you printed off?
But it doesn't say anything as of yet about condemning property.
I think it, yes, it does. And I actually highlighted several things in there that talked about
The
that.
officer may remove or demolish,
Yeah.
14207.
The table, go and table and read over, just make sure.
I mean, it almost reads verbatim.
That makes you wonder if she put it on. get you.
Copies of that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Or we can do that. So y'all wanna table it till next meeting?
I can make copies tomorrow if y'all wanna come pick them up. And I'll also email it to the attorney because we were on this property that was served the notice to be condemned. We had set a hearing next Wednesday. And she was telling me that basically they would have the opportunity to come in and state their case. There was some action this weekend that was people down there that were getting ready to brace up that back wall. And it stopped. And so we set the hearing. One of the attorneys told me that it was time we could demolish at any time. And the other one stopped and said, no, we need to have this hearing. And then she calls me back and tells me that our ordinance has no clear, she said that she had researched it and she didn't find any clear condemnation guidelines. So that's kind of why we had this drawn up, so that we could move forward with this process, but if it's already in place, then.
I sure would hate for that to be postponed.
We also want to make sure that we do it
I wanna do it by the book.
by the book
That's right, because
because,
you don't want to come back and sue. You have to give them.
and then we have to build them a building back in there. If we do anything not right, they can sue them. So we want to make sure that when it's done, that it's done.
We have a motion to table.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Bruce, second. Second by Michael Ford. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, Chief Tubbs is not here. Say, Matt, how you doing? This is Officer Matt Copeland, if everybody's not met him before.
Hey, Matt, welcome.
I talked to Chief Tubbs today. Of course, he's got a full house. They're getting a lot of stuff together as far as investigator and some other things. Having to have a little more room. Storage cabinets, one thing. You know, they don't have enough space. You're kind of on top of each other. So he asked me, would it be an issue? Because I told him I'd have to talk to you guys. In the boardroom down there now, that he put up 2 cubicles on the back wall. The boardroom will still be available to have meetings if we have to, which once we get this grant started on this, we will have to have meetings down there for a little while.
And who's having a meeting? Who wants to put cubicle?
Chief,
Does that room still have recording in it? He knows that, as long as he knows that,
yeah, no, there's a camera in there.
it can't be turned off.
And it's,
Trouble doing.
and he wants to use that as an interrogation room as well, because they just don't have anywhere to separate people. And I just told him, I said, it's up to the board. I don't have an issue with it. I know it's cramped for space. Cubicles not gonna cost that much. It will be locked up when nobody can get in it. But the space will still be there to hold city court and also our monthly meetings once we start working on this building.
I'm okay with it, so I'll make a motion.
Well, we
don't do that.
don't have to have a motion. I just wanted to pass. I didn't want to tell him to do it and y'all not know.
I recommend, just because of the budget and being the finance officer, the cost of the cubicles. He also told me that the door in the hallway that goes into the Chamber of Commerce, number one, our thermostat is in there for our central heat and air unit. That's how we control our temperature. But he said the door that leads into the chamber office would have to be replaced with a more sturdy door. And I think that's one thing that I would recommend is us look at the cost of it to make sure that it's feasible before we just go out and start doing
I think he
this.
said cubicles, they done looks like $380 or something.
Okay.
And they'll go 8 foot, they'll go a lot harder.
Is
I
that
think you
kind of
can,
his stuff?
I was gonna say that it's his
That's,
budget.
and
Yeah,
his budget is tight, and that's why I'm saying, I'm not opposed to it, but I don't know that the police department funds can support it depending on the cost of the door and other things. Because they had no evidence kits, they just bought evidence kits and they were a little more expensive than he thought they were gonna be. Things that they had to have, but that's my only recommendation as finance officer is that we do look at the actual, and I've told Jason I'm all for him, I'm all for the department, I want them to have what they need. But we also have have to be fiscally responsible.
Well, and in the incident, if it is pushing to him, the door that's over there on the other side, which would be really city property, we might could pay for the door and let them do cubicle.
I don't think the door's gonna be that expensive anyway. It just needs to be a solid door instead of a,
This is just a really
It's just a-
flimsy interior
yeah.
door.
I mean, it's just a hollow core door, is what's on it.
So does he not have a fund when he recoups drug money that he can use for,
We have a drug fund. The drug fund has $1,700 in it. We have a fund called unawarded seized funds, which is the money that was seized during the drug bust a couple of months ago. It's a little over $12,000. That money is separate. It cannot be touched. There is a hearing coming up when they award, and the gentleman that was arrested with the money is requesting a hearing, I believe. Is that correct? So until it is awarded to us by the judge that will have that hearing, we can't touch it. So it just has to sit there. Once it's awarded, it goes into the drug fund, which would increase that fund to about $14,000. But it can only be spent for certain specific things that are for fighting drug crime. You have to prove that what you're purchasing is
so an
for.
interrogation room wouldn't be fighting drug crime?
I don't know that this would be considered an interrogation room as much as it is desks
No, it's
or
just for, actually, it's just for officers.
Desk
but
space
it's
for
not used as
officers.
interrogation.
Well, it's all about how you work.
He's like, they can work.
That's it.
So,
Absolutely.
but that would be something that, because I've never dealt with drug money before, so it would be something that would take a lot of research to make sure, again, that we're doing it right.
I mean, you spend a dollar on it. You drive around, it's a $6 car.
There was one on this county.
All right. Daryl, you have anything? Oh, you and Johnny's been kind of helping covering the
Yeah,
water.
me and David been going back on the slum ordinance violations. We've got 2 yards, we've done got mowed, and past our time, we're gonna clean them up. I think Ms. Besson sent them bills for what we done for their jobs. We've got some more, we'll wait for time to expire, if we can start on them. Me and David Barge is working on those, getting those took care of. We've been going around, we've trimmed a bunch of trees off intersections, make the visibility better, off stop signs, clean up trees around fire hydrants and stuff like that. We've seen that they be done off the roadways, off sidewalks. We've been getting a lot of tree trimming done amongst other stuff too, having leaks.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if y'all did it or if the people that own the property did it, but that, down from my house, Cruz, that house, did y'all do that?
No, ma'am, I think he mowed the front yard. The backyard still grew up with small trees and stuff like that. I don't know. where
There is a
they're at.
spot that's literally coming on into the street, and I don't know whose property it is. I don't know if that is Stan Shelton's, because I think he owns his daddy, he takes care of his daddy's property next to it. But you can't even, I mean, if a car was coming, I'd almost scratch my car coming down.
What they do?
And just, if you could just move it back, I realize whoever owns it's gonna be responsible for it, just get it off the road.
Well, I done one on Sand Street about a month ago over here, and it was digging down the road, and I went back about a foot off the edge of the road. And a couple of days later, one of the other guys was reading news, whatever they were doing, and people come out and say, well, that's our family tree, that's something that's, y'all should never touch.
Well, we have.
But like we told them, we've got to keep our streets clean too.
Right.
Right.
And we pretty much told her, if y'all worry about the tree, then y'all need to keep the trim back out of the road.
Right.
I mean,
And
it's
another
just-
thing is if it scratched somebody's car, they could be liable for it.
Exactly. But that you're talking about, we will get it there.
And then those trees hanging on, Church Street, it's Church Street down from Riley Road, just to the very next street.
Mhm.
They're hanging, they scratched the whole top of my car.
But that's the next, we've got them on the list too, those next ones in line.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate all that y'all do.
I don't think the public really knows what all you guys do. I did not have a clue until, I started going to the meetings and then this. The citizen, even though we don't have fussing and all that good stuff, we would really appreciate citizens to come and listen. And then they get the truth from, our mouths instead of theirs. I know, but still.
Well,
Makes everybody.
the truth is, I'm curious.
But awareness,
I don't
yes.
know if you did that or not, but I think it turned out pretty good back there.
I think I gave y'all a list of the yards that they
Yeah,
had to
so
take
they
care
got-
of this month. I mean, that's just this past month that we billed $1,300 out to those yards for yards that we sent a letter, the people didn't comply, and we went in and cleaned up their yard and sent them a bill. So, and it's mostly abandoned properties or the house is gone, but they're letting the lot grow up or whatever it may be. So that people don't realize that they're, and they've taken over that because I was going on my lunch hour and checking all these houses, these addresses that people had called and complained and we'd sent letters on, and Daryl and David took it over. And so that takes something off me, and they've really, really been working hard to get everything cleaned up.
What kind of response do y'all get, like when they do go out and knowing that they get bills? Very many people, will they pay it or?
Well, they just mowed the first couple ones last week or week before.
Monday, Tuesday.
The first,
Tuesday.
okay, so we just sent letters out, and I actually spoke to the family of the one property that we mowed because we had sent them a letter and the time wasn't up yet, but we had a gentleman come into City Hall and he said, look, I about had a wreck. I couldn't see around this to go, and so I talked to Shane and I was like, to me, this is a safety hazard. We need to go ahead and take care of this. So they did, and I sent him a bill, and she called me and we talked about it, and she was very, very nice. We got it mowed, and she asked me for names of people in town because the person that was mowing for them just kind of stopped. So she asked me for names of people that mow yards. I told her, they sent me a check. We had it like in 2 or 3 days.
Oh, that's good.
So the other one was the people that put the dumpster on North Street. Do you remember that? They put a dumpster with no lights,
Right in the middle of the
no
street.
reflectors, right in the middle of the road. It was all early afternoon. Daryl went over there. We had some complaints on Facebook. People were talking about it, and I was like, Shane, is this okay? He's like, no, this is not okay. Daryl goes over there, tells them to move it, and they're like, well, we didn't put it there, and they just refused to move it. So as it started getting dark, Daryl came back to work, got the excavator, the backhoe or something, and went over there and yanked this dumpster in the yard, and I sent him a bill for $200. He said, I'm not paying that. I said,
So do you?
I said,
bring
okay.
a small claim? I mean,
well, this is what I told him. I said, you'll pay this by this day, or I will turn it over to the attorney, and then you'll have attorney fees, and you'll have court costs attached to that. And it wasn't very long, we got a check for that one. So you just kind of have to
Things are slowly, we're slowly getting.
follow through with it. You can't just send them a letter and just let it go.
I mean, if they don't pay us, it's gonna go on the property taxes.
Right.
Yes.
So they're gonna pay it one way or
Okay,
the
good.
other.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, it's not like we're out here looking to go do it to give somebody a bill, but I mean, if they don't start cleaning it up, then
And the
these
whole
guys have been
thing,
jumping there doing it.
and the whole thing with the dumpster, it had no writing, no letters, no markers, no reflectors, no phone, no
Black.
nothing. And it's just a black dumpster sitting on the street, and it was on North Street, it's a narrow road anyway. So, I mean, it's any full-size truck come out there, gonna get, knock the mirror off, and then there will be trying to fix somebody's vehicle.
Also, I'm sure y'all seen your back where they collected $1,504 off of old water accounts that have been hanging out there for the last 3 years. Because we wrote off
We went
prior to.
back to 5 years, and we ended up with $19,000 left, and we collected almost 10% of it. So.
Wonderful.
All right.
The only thing I would say is, when you're doing this mowing and cleaning up for people on derelict properties and stuff like that, I don't believe in price gouging people, but they should pay more than the raw cost of machines. And I don't know who sets it, and I don't even need to know, but I wouldn't be afraid to charge them just a little bit extra because it's a pain for everybody, and
These
somebody
guys
should
have to
pay
do
for it.
It's taking them away from doing their own
Exactly.
routine stuff. So.
I mean, it should pay their time, pay the fuel, pay the wear and tear, plus it ought to pay a little more than that.
It's, we've got one, we sent a bill for $500, but they had to cut limbs, they were
You
there
don't
for
get
quite
much
a
for
bit of time.
$500 anymore.
Just a simple mow, we billed anywhere from 100 to 200, just depending on the size of the yard and how extensive it
Okay.
was.
That's right on South Main, number 623, Mr. Campbell, mowed it Tuesday. We had mowed a yard 3 times to get down there, we make it look halfway decent.
Well,
High, drop it down.
And I saw you guys down here on the south side of town, and you were mowing that more than once.
Mhm.
And it looks pretty nice. It does look nice. I went by it today, but there wasn't one mow across that and got it done.
Now, we mowed 2 or 3 times, make it look right. It takes, but it's fuel, time, labor, I mean, it just takes time.
Anybody else got anything? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion. Motion by Michael, second by Renee. All in favor, say aye. Meeting adjourned.